Yeah, hello there, desperate finance nerds or lazy bibliophiles. It's your favorite penny pincher here, Captain Pennybeard. Yeah, I've been uploading a lot of content lately, and they have been quite popular among you guys. It's kind of surprising that nobody has really sung a song or made a rap about me yet.
Captain Pennybeard.
Yeah, that banter aside, I'm going to be discussing a completely new topic. This is going to be the first book review ever on my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the best sold, the most popular personal finance book, the most read one ever, multiple New York Times bestseller. The title of the book is Rich Dad Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. When you go to any channel or blog or article or any post, you are likely going to stumble upon this book. It's very intrinsically connected to the pop culture. It's the first book that is going to be recommended to any amateur or nincompoop looking to make big cash. And despite the author's somewhat shady background, the book has birthed many entrepreneurs and businessmen and provides a completely fresh view into the financial world for noobs that really want to get into business or marketing or selling anything. First, I'm going to be discussing about what I learned from the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. The book has 6 chapters, each discussing a slightly different topic, but to a large extent, the themes from the prior chapters remain, and the same central points are repeated over and over again, which is a good thing since it creates a sort of connection between the points made in each chapter. From the book, I've learned 3 main things, 3 important things that are useful and that have changed the way I look at money and the way I approach finances now. Number 1, don't work for money. Now, on first sight, the quote seems kind of ridiculous, and to many it would be a more moral statement rather than practical or something that makes sense in the business realm. Best thing I've learned from the book is because what he's saying is don't work for money, but rather make money work for you. You're not supposed to be putting all the effort and working like a donkey the entire day and then spending all your time, effort, intellect, and waste yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually for some money. That's not the way to get rich. The richest people in the world, like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, of course they are hardworking, but that's not the reason they became successful. A lot of people, they put tons of effort and tons of work into what they're doing, and they still don't really make any sort of financial success or gain. What does one mean by don't work for money? The main idea here is that you have to make money work for you. That's how business people actually get rich. They invest the money they have into buying commodities or providing services or learning some skills. They provide those services, provide the products without directly getting involved. Maybe they hire some workers or some employees and they get these extra people. They outsource the work so that they can get more money. They outsource the work so that they can get the work done. They don't really do the direct work themselves. This is the point that's made when one says don't work for money. You have to make money work for you. You have to invest the money into learning new skills or acquiring new assets and then outsourcing your work to people. You could get 10 different customers for a product, and it's not completely possible for you to serve them within a certain time frame individually. So what you do is you outsource the work to another person and they do the work for you and they get a percentage of the money. Maybe they get 30% of the cash and you get 70%, or maybe it's higher. They get 70% and you get 30% for providing them the platform or the framework for providing service to other people. The second point I've learned from the book is regarding financial literacy. Financial literacy isn't really taught at schools or any educational institutions unless you take financial management as your vocation, like you're seeking to learn economics and how to manage money, or you're becoming a banker and whatnot. But even then, they don't really teach you a lot of the important things. What they are teaching you is essentially what's enough in order for you to serve as a good employee, but they're not teaching you how to become successful in the long term. We actually go to schools in order to learn skills and learn things that might be necessary, or when we go to university in order to get high-paying jobs. And while we are learning about these essential skills, learning how to communicate, or maybe learn some extra languages or about science, maths, physics, chemistry, what happens is at the end you aren't really learning for the final ambition. They don't really teach you about financial independence, taxes, or any sort of loopholes. Hence, the point is that we have to find other ways of seeking financial independence. We can't really rely on our school teachers who themselves don't really have any idea about personal finance. So the third point I've learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad, this is probably the only applicable thing in the entire list. What I learned is about the asset and liability. This is a very vast topic, so I'm going to cover it briefly in this video. I put a ton of effort and research into putting this video together, so please like, subscribe, share, comment down below what book you want me to review next. In the asset and liability chart, there are 2 rows and 2 columns, and the rows are called the income and expense rows, and then you have 2 columns which are asset and liability column. The idea is that basically in the asset column you have things that actually provide value, that provide you a source of income. You connect that to the income row, and then you have a liability column which you connect to the expenses row. Essentially what this does is this provides a financial clarity of where you're spending your money, what's actually benefiting you and what's actually harming you. Depending on what class in the society you are, the way you perceive the chart essentially changes. For instance, lower and middle class people tend to view their homes as an asset, but the truth is homes and the land you acquire might be an asset in the long term, but in the short term, in the macro, they aren't really assets. They are liabilities, because you have to pay for furnishing, you have to pay for maintenance, you have to pay for a lot of other things that are related to house expenses. So the house is in the short term a liability, but poor and middle class people tend to put this as an asset, and this causes a lot of strain. So the poorer you are, the more you are likely to have a large liability column instead of a large asset column, and the richer you are likely to have a larger asset column and a lower liability column. So this is what differentiates between rich people and wealthy people as well. Rich people, they tend to have high income and high liability, but the actually wealthy people, they have low liability and high wealth. There needs to be this differentiation between what makes you rich and what makes you wealthy. Anybody could in theory be rich, but taking wealthy takes a lot of restraint. So here I've already discussed the things which help you get rich. The third point I made is about the asset column. It provides you a very basic framework for get rich formula, which is save more and spend less. It also provides a clarity into what an actual asset is and what a liability is. And one of the things he mentions in the book is that poor people tend to take their homes as a liability, which I've already discussed. Now that I've discussed what I've learned from the book, I'm going to discuss my criticisms of the book.